Okay guys, so this is the start of the tiger mural. As I said, I'm going to have wooden slats to make the tiger look like he sat in a window in effect in the room. So I'm replicating the wooden slats above the wall, and then I'm going to have his paws hanging over the edge. So, turn that off for a second. So I've run some 25mm automotive tape along the slat and left like a 3mm gap in between, and I've just sprayed a very light dusting of transparent sienna in between the tapes, and now I'm going to go in with some burnt umber and just darken up some areas so it's not all dark brown. There's some light brown in there as well, so when you get up close you can see that there is lights and darks in it. Okay, so we've now kind of misted over the panels with a fairly light grey, but it allows us to distinguish the difference between the background and the wood panels on the front. Plus we don't want everything looking perfect on the front, so I've still got to put all the little nails and stuff like that in and I'm going to scrape some texture into the panels themselves. So I'm going to have just a little offering of foliage in the background. I'm going to keep it really soft, but predominantly that's going to be like a dark burnt umber colour on the ground, and then I'm going to have a small offering of foliage at the back in greens, the darker greens, mixed with a few light greens here and there. Okay, so I'm just going to offer as if it's foliage in the background, not a lot, just like a blur coming out the sides, and then I'm going to do some random as well. So we've done our light green. We're now gonna lay down some burnt umber, so I'll just move these greens to one side. So I'm now just putting some white kind of misting in in the background. I know I put a load of green in and then darkened it, and just missed in a few areas. And I'll come in and darken a few as well. To there. To there. We'll be able to take that one out now. You have to obviously put another bit of application tape above. So I'm just going around adding the white that I lost when I was blocking in the background. To protect the outline. I'm going to keep the edges soft, so the inner part of the black line or stripe I'm going to make dark. texture in it first. So I'm just going to come in with a little bit of texture. Mix it up, make sure you're getting all kinds of textures in there. And then mist over it, just to give you that extra detail. In, up, so I'm moving the stencil around so it's not all the same. And then what I'll do is I'm going to shoot over that with some grey. Got a little bit of a shadow. Notice as I'm doing this shadow, I'm just moving my finger around. I'm not actually keeping it still. So I'm matching the shape of the shadow of the background, and I'm just moving my finger. It's quite a blurred image, so it's understanding what is fur and what is like his pad. So we've got to keep that kind of fluffy look going on here. And then it goes really soft up here. But I'm going to have to come in with some white in that area. Gonna do some like little dagger strokes out of here. Just to fluff it up a bit. Okay, I'm just going to keep going until I use up all the black, and then I'll come in with some greys and whites. Still want our shadow along the bottom, so just keep that going. The whites that we've just done. So I'm going to be pretty detailed up close and just go back over these black lines. Down close so we eliminate overspray. some skin tone in the pores, but I'm going to keep it really, really soft. I don't want, it's almost a hint of it as opposed to just using the shield to bounce up just to create this, and doing almost blended daggers into nothing, just to create that kind of fur-like look, and then it kind of comes down into a bit like what we've got here, but kind of both ways really. The larger black area, there's a little bit of here, just a little bit, almost like a sweeping hairs, and then it kind of then goes up. Again, we'll want to try and little daggers. Just going to push those pencil lines back a bit because they're a bit heavy. Just doing a bit of shading now. Again, we've got pencil lines, so I'm just going to lose the pencil lines. Once you've got a bit of a mist in there, you can kind of see where the pencil lines were and just eat up into it. So I'm just doing daggers up. Might want to get our little shield up there and just dagger up. Still trying to keep this quite soft. If you want tighter daggers, just move in that little bit closer. So it all looks kind of soft. There's nothing too harsh in here. We're going to be coming in with some white anyway, once we've done a bit of erasing like we did over here. More of a blur around there. So I'm just using the soft rubber just to punch into the almost the dagger strokes that I've done before, clumping a few together. Don't want it too uniformed. There I've got a little bit too uniformed. It's the same old stroke, so I need to eat some up and down. And change directions a little so it's not all uniformed, but I'm not just doing crisscrosses. It's kind of mixing it up a little. And when I come in with the white, that should lend itself quite well. To getting those dagger strokes. It's a good starting point anyway. Transparency and back in the top again. So where I put the white in the top, along the top of the tiger, I'm actually going to hit more of the background above the white line than I am actually on the line. All I want to do is shift that white, and because we've got a dark background, it doesn't really matter if we hit the background. Right, I'm just going to put a little bit of transparent sienna in our gun. This is the real vibrant ginger, but I'm just only going to touch a few areas. I mean a few, I'm not going overkill. And now I've put a mist over it. Look, when I take it out I can see that dark line. So I'm just going to reiterate that line with a bit of ginger. That's going to be pushed back anyway. Okay, that's cool. Yeah, maybe a little bit darker up here. And behind, a bit more ginger behind. Along that edge. Okay, we can now start work on the erasing. First and foremost, I'm actually going to do the darker hairs. So in order to show the darker hairs in between the paw, we're going to need to really kind of go to town with the burnt umber. So, and it's going to be a bit of a painstaking process of the paw. So we've got a real dark area here, and then just mist it up, just so we got some dark areas in. I can now move that out of the way. This is a real light area here, so I'm just going to be misting ever so lightly down this side, just to get the paw in, and we can start creating our shapes with shadows and things like that. That's a darker area there. So I'm just going to give an overall mist. I know it seems very dark now, but we'll come back to this. That's light on that edge. We'll put a bit of darkness up there, then we kind of go back to rough light there. I'm just going to get that angle of the The reason I've done this little bit here is because right above it is where our shine of the wrist, if you like, or the elbow comes in. So I want to get that in first, and then this area here is darker, so I overemphasize this bit here and make this a lot lighter. Keep it random. And as I come lower, this is in light here, real light, so I'm just going to be punching that out. I'm so used to doing hairs a lot smaller than this in classes and in other tutorials, but with this big mural we can go. Takes a while to do, but it's worth it in the long run. Let's do all this area first. So what I'm doing is I'm not going as mad in where I need the colour. So I'm still being varied with it, but I'm not taking out as much because I want the darkness of the colour behind. So we'll just keep going with this fur. This bit goes round into a bit of a shadow, so I'm not going to be pulling out too much hair in this bit. So I'm just doing shorter hairs, but I'm doing them in an arc. This does punch up a little here, and as it comes over, this bit's kind of facing that way, and as it comes around the corner it turns. So I'm not going to wipe them all out. It does take a while to do this kind of thing, especially when it's 2.4 meters. You get used to being quicker. As time goes on. You can see how fast I'm kind of moving down the paw now. Just going to put a little bit more of a mist down this side. Not a real heavy one, but just something. I'm going to put some ginger in it as well, I think. just going to use some very light warm umber. Just a little bit of warm umber. So around there, just a little bit of colour in there. Just where I see a shift in the colour. Remember, this is all going to be erased out. That's it, that's all I needed. Just put a light mist up the edge. So I just feel I need a little bit of burnt umber in this darker area here. And we've got something to work from. Just trying to make sure I haven't got too much glass fibre poking out, because it can fan out a bit and then give you too thick a hair. So just going to have a look at this pour down here. It's a bit more. First around the outside, and then start doing the colouring and the shading.